Hi YouTube. So in today's video, we're doing something special, maybe a new format for series, reacting to some hot takes about Smash. Obviously people have done this before, so really just people saying whatever they think about anything Smash related, whether Melee, Ultimate, PM, 64, whatever, and I give my opinion. Posted a tweet here. Give me your hot takes in the YouTube comments and maybe I'll react to them for the next one. Let's find a good one to start. Here we go. Let's go. Marth Fox is 50-50. Fox players are just spoiled by having every other matchup being favorable. They mistake 50-50 for being unfavored. You know, a lot of you guys will laugh at this now, but this is legitimately what I had to endure every single day from like 2015-16 when I first said that I think Marth wins. And basically everyone completely lost it at even the thought that Marth could win and that Fox could lose a matchup. Even though the data, like the matchup data, clearly supported it, people were like, no, there's no way. Fox wins everything. Have you heard about the meme? Fox no items on FD? Here's the thing. I think Fox loses. I also think Fox actually loses one other matchup, but I'm not going to go into that here. However, I do think Fox wins every other matchup than those two, and I do not think that either of them are unplayable. People say a lot about matchup ratios. They say, oh, what do you think about this matchup? What would you put it? Would you put it 6-4? Put it 55-45? I remember having a conversation with Armada even, where he said like, yeah, if a matchup is 7-3, you should never lose it. And to me, 7-3 is like, okay, if they're equally skilled, then one player will win 70% of the time, and another player will win 30% of the time. Like sets, not matches. Matches are often easier to take than sets. I mean, overall, I think Marth slightly wins on basically every stage, and heavily wins on FD, and also has the advantage of having Pokemon Stadium now being frozen, basically giving him a second FD. Not quite as bad, but still really wide, good, flat stage with no top platform. Overall, though, I think the matchup's definitely still, you know, there's definitely room to improve and to find new tech. Maybe the matchup will change, maybe it won't. I've labbed this matchup a lot. I am still the last Fox to take a set of Sane. IBDW, I think, has lost like 12 straight sets or something, and no other Fox has even gotten close either. I think I have quite a bit of knowledge on this, and the problem for me is not necessarily that Fox is losing, it is also that the tech that I find and all the labbing I do very heavily points towards that it's the Marths that are unoptimized that have more room for improvement. Zane, for example, doesn't really chain grab very well, and does a lot of bad risk rewards, has a lot of things he could do better, but he doesn't really need to because he's already beating every Fox, and since I'm on Sheik now, there's no real reason for him to be better. All that said, I am happy going Sheik. I'm doing great with Sheik. I played against Zane, every other Marth. Much prefer that matchup. I think it's way more fun, and you know, I don't know if Marth Sheik is even winning for Sheik, but I do know that it feels a lot better of a matchup, which means that I think that Marth Fox is pretty clearly in Marth's favor. It's not actually slight in my opinion, due to FD being so controversial. I want to preface this by saying it's okay for Fox to lose a matchup. I think there's an argument that every character in the game loses a matchup, right? So I'm not whining about this. I still think Fox is contender for the best character in the game. I just don't think that he wins every matchup. What I will say is that I think overall, probably not traditional matchup.
If most people would be like, oh my god, 66-33, that's insane.
But yeah, if you ask me today, you gotta pick a ratio. I'm forcing you. I'd probably say about 66-33, or that the Marth is gonna win about 2 out of 3 times given equal skill over a large period of time. But do you know what else is the 66-33 matchup? Guys versus male pattern baldness. Did you know that 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35? And that the best way to prevent hair loss is to do something while you still have hair left? That's where today's sponsor, Keeps, comes in. Thank you, Keeps, for sponsoring this video. Keeps offers affordable FDA-approved medications for hair loss. And you can get treated right at home. You know, you can go online, talk to a licensed doctor, will review your information and get a treatment plan that's just right for you. And then you can just get it shipped home every 3 months. So you don't have to worry about it. So if you're ready to take action, go to keeps.com/Leffen to get 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/LEFFEN. Thank you, Keeps. All right, next question. I like this one. Who hates more? Ultimate players on Melee or Melee players on Ultimate? You know, I think this is an interesting question, but I think the best answer was in response here. Ultimate players on Ultimate. And it's so goddamn true. I want you to take 1 second. When was the last time you saw a top melee player who only plays melee shit on Ultimate? You're gonna say me, but I fucking played Ultimate. I beat Tweak, I beat Meister, I beat Salem. I played more Ultimate that year than most professional Ultimate players. Even I am an Ultimate player shitting on Ultimate. Some people will throw a jab here or there. And honestly, I think Ultimate deserves it. It has a ton of flaws. The online is shit. There's two-framing. There's RNG characters beating Sacre. Like, there's a lot of problems with Ultimate. I think Melee has problems too that you can shit on too. Like, Puff, Ices. I think the problem is some people just take it too hard. Like, you can shit on Melee all you want. I won't give a shit. Because I know that if you sit here and say, oh, Melee is all glitchy and Melee is super unbalanced, there's no characters in it. Like, I know you're wrong. I think the reason why so many Ultimate players take it so personally when you shit on Ultimate as a game, when we have spent the same money buying that game, is because they know it's true. They know Ultimate has a lot of flaws. They still like the game, and it's completely fine to like a game that is flawed, that isn't the best game of all time, by the way. But they know it's true, and that's why they get so upset about it. I do think there's a long and complicated history about this. You know, Melee players were legitimately really terrible towards the Brawl scene, but that's also a really complicated discussion because Brawl was made because of Melee, and it like actively tried to dissuade people from compete by adding tripping and stuff like that. Overall, I think it's a game. You paid for it. You are allowed to criticize it. Don't shit on players unless the players do something fucked up. I like a ton of things that aren't great, and you probably went to the movies and saw, you know, might not be the best Oscar-winning movie, right? That's completely fine. Smash could be one of the biggest esports on the planet if it had a better developer. Maybe not a hot take, but something that bothers me a lot. I think a lot of randoms will not see this, but yeah, like they'll think, oh no, what could Nintendo have done? But yeah, no, Nintendo screwed the entire Smash scene, not just the Melee scene, by massive amounts. I don't want any pity party for me. I'm doing great, okay? And I don't feel the need to earn any more money than I already am. The real problem is there's people in the top 10, like IBDW, who's now like a top 5 player, who last year had to sub-goal food while still being top 10. That's the people that it actually hurts. I will say that the Melee community and the Smash community, the Ultimate community in general, is very, very generous, and it supports its creators and its top players. Hopefully we'll be able to keep providing, you know, food on the table, as harsh as that sounds, for at least the top players and the top content creators. LCanceling is a stupid mechanic. It serves no purpose, and there isn't a situation where not doing it is better. So let's break this down a little bit. First off, LCanceling is not a glitch. The developers knew about it. It's in 64, and they changed it. In 64, they removed all landing lag. In Melee, it's 50% of the landing lag. It is not a glitch. It is completely intentional. They clearly knew what they were doing, okay? Great. Secondly, no, it's not a stupid mechanic. I don't think it's the best mechanic of all time, and I wouldn't cry if it's removed. And I played games where they auto L-cancel, such as Rivals and Rushdown Revolt, and I don't really feel that it's much worse, but I do think that it actually works in Melee. There's a ton of complexity when it actually comes to L-canceling, whether you light press, when you actually press it, tech lockout. Legitimately, like, I think I have a 30+ minute video and I could talk for like literally an hour about when to L cancel. Yes, you always want to hit an L cancel, but the way to hit it is actually really hard and it requires reads and tells. And here's my thing, okay? It feels good to L cancel. The first time you nair someone's shield and you L cancel and then you shine them before they hit you, it feels goddamn fucking amazing. Is that shallow? Maybe. But I mean, isn't all video games just kind of shallow? Like, what's the point of anything? If it feels good and it's fun to do, does it have to serve any more purpose? The way I try to explain this by using an analogy where you have Tony Hawk Pro Skater, right? Where you can like tap X, they will do a kickflip and like flip around and do a 360, whatever. Super special move. And then you have like Skate, where it's like you need a lot more button inputs to precisely control your character. And for some people, they like the Tony Hawk thing where you press a button and then the entire character does all of this. Some people like the more intuitive rake down feel. And I really like the fact that when I move in Melee, I jump, I decide a short hop, I decide how to drift, I decide if it's a dash jump or not, I decide which aerial, I decide when to fast fall and when to L cancel. It all adds this tactile feedback that makes me feel more in tune with the game. I don't like other fighting games as much sometimes. You know, like I play Dragon Ball, stuff like that, because you can kind of like mash the combos and the attack comes out like 3 seconds after you pressed it. And to me, that makes the link between me and the character a lot weaker. And sometimes, you know, this is a little bit of a reach, but I genuinely feel like this. It makes it so that when I do a sick combo in melee, it feels like I did it. But when I do something in ultimate, or I get hit by something in ultimate, or any other fighting game, right? It might not even be me feeling, oh, I was sick, or they were sick. That was a sick combo. Sometimes it feels to me like that character's stupid because you're not controlling your character as much. Basically, I enjoy and feel less connected to the game. Okay, next one. Brawl is better than Smash 4 and Ultimate. I might make a full review or ranking all the Smash games at some point. I think there's definitely argument for their time. I want to repeat this. For their time, I think Brawl is better game than Ultimate and Smash 4. While it had a lot of tripping issues, is a better single player game. Basically, that's the same netcode, yet was released 20 years ago. At that point, I was just happy to play online, period. Even me. Whereas now it's more like, wow, Ultimate's the only fighting game that won't have rollback in like 2021. Wow, that's sad. Obviously, Smash 4, pretty bad game, even for its time. I personally enjoyed Brawl more. While the movement is very slow, there's a lot of depth to each character because they all have a lot of specific techniques. And the buffer system is much better implemented. But competitively, I think Ultimate's a better game. And obviously, if I had to pick a game to play today, I would play Ultimate for sure. Fox is underrated by non-Fox players? Absolutely, especially casual players. That's not to say, I think this take is a little weird because I don't think pro players do this much anymore. But yeah, especially before, and like if you ask a random person who the best character is, they're gonna say like, yeah, it's Fox. Because that's just like who has painted to be the best character. Might still very well be. But the fact of the matter is that Fox is not definitively the best character. Many top players, including Zane, including Amon, including myself, if a gun was put to their head, they'd probably not pick Fox. Maybe they would, but like the fact that it isn't clear shows you that there is a lot of things left to decide, and we don't really know who's going to be the best character in 10 years. So acting as if Fox by default wins every matchup, it's just wrong. Yeah, like Fox is good, but he's not Meta Knight in Brawl. Exactly. Peach loses every relevant matchup. No. Whether you like it or not, Samus, Pikachu, Yoshi are all relevant, and she destroys those characters. If they weren't relevant, then we wouldn't have top 10 ranked players play those characters, which we have had. Next up, I don't think she necessarily loses to Falco as well. I think Peach plays a very good record. And in general, Peach players just whine about too many things. Like, yeah, Peach is not the best character in the game. I think we can all say that. But she's also a super solid character with a lot of depth and a lot of tech that the top Peaches don't do. And I think she's absolutely close to as good as Falcon, who has 4 top 10 players arguably right now. So yeah, you have no actual excuse to lose if you're playing Peach. And if Peach is that bad, then don't fucking play her. No one wants to hear your goddamn whining. We all start with the same character select screen. If you think Peach loses every matchup, and this is somehow not an outrageous take, but Fox players can't say we lose one matchup, what the hell is happening with people? Peach is really good. She's super solid. She's a perfect tournament character, and she has a lot of shit left to do still. Stomp knee is fucking sick. No. This guy is the person. He's made like 200 different ways to stomp knee. And as cool as these combos are, they only further prove to me that how easy it is to hit a regular stomp knee. Thus proving that stomp knee is in fact, when done normally, not sick at all. Because you could be doing all this. So you played yourself. Brinstar Mute City should be legal again, and Falcon beats... Okay, yeah, this guy's just out of control. In the future, the only legal controller should be box style. GameCube controllers are trash and only result in hand problems, health problems, inconsistency. Modding would be much easier to regulate and find compared to GameCube controllers as well. Well, first off, it's not easy to get a Frame 1 right now, or a box. Everyone that wants a GameCube controller can get a GameCube controller, even though it's not optimal. Secondly, I'm the most technical player in the world, and I do not have any severe hand problems. And I play Frame 1 as well, and I don't find it to be much better for my hands. But the main benefit ergonomically for me with Frame 1 is that it is easier to use proper form. Also, it uses different parts of my hands compared to using a GameCube controller. So for me, what I found is not to play 8 hours on frame 1 or 8 hours on GameCube controller, but to play 4 of each. One movement is like this, and the other is like this. Basically spread out what parts you're hitting. And in general, honestly, we'll probably release a full video on this later. GameCube controllers, they feel more fun to play melee on, man. I know this is objective, but the game was goddamn designed around it. The special feeling of like lightly toggling how hard you shield with an R button, hitting the C stick, the control stick, tilting things. It's just not the same when it's a button for each light shield string, or it's a button to do an up tilt. It's called an up tilt. I want to tilt the controller when I do it. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind on this eventually, but I really do think that you can't replace the feel of a game controller. And thankfully, we do have some things coming, like the Panda controller, like the Goomwave, that hopefully will make things more consistent. But I really disagree with the take that GameCube controllers inevitably lead to hand pain. That is just wrong, straight up. Yes, they are hard on your hands, and you do need to keep that in mind if you don't want hand problems, but they do not guarantee health problems. Hey Leff, what do you think about Mango beating Zane on FD with Falco? Personally, I feel like all Fox players were completely wrong about Fox Marth, the election, and maybe even the war. Just my 2 cents. And with that, we're done. Tune in for the next episode. Leave your hot takes below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want more. Like the video, all that stuff. Bye, YouTube.